What's up, everyone? My name is Shiksha Mahtani, aka Bollygirl, and I'll be your host today on behalf of Pinkvilla USA. Now, I am very excited to introduce to you our guest, Avantika Vandanapu. She will be the very first Indian American lead in a Disney movie here in Hollywood. She is an actress, a dancer, a singer, a model who started off by winning second place on ZTV's reality show, Dance India Dance Little Masters North America. She then went on to appear in various Indian movies and commercials, as well as voiced a character in Disney's Mira the Royal Detective and made guest appearances in the Disney show Diary of a Future President. Her latest venture, a new movie called Spin on Disney about an Indian American teen who finds she has a passion for DJing and uses music to help her navigate and blend her Indian heritage with the world around her. Please join me in welcoming Avantika Vandanapu. Hi, Avantika. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Shiksha?
I'm good, thank you. Congrats on your new movie. I'm so excited. Can't wait for it to come out.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited as well.
Yes, it's really amazing. And now I have to ask, have you always dreamed about being on Disney? Is this a dream come true for you?
Of course, I mean, like, what teenager doesn't dream of being on Disney Channel? It was just tough for me as a young Indian girl to be like, oh, I could one day be on that screen and be where those characters are. But I think we see representation coming into Hollywood. It was like, oh, maybe this is something I could finally get to do. And then Spin was here, and I was like, crazy experience. And I have to constantly pinch myself to finally be able to live out my dream like this.
That is so cool. What was your reaction when you found out? What were you doing when you got that call?
I actually didn't get the call, it was a very weird experience because the director and our producer, Manjari is our director and Zan Divine is our producer. They both told me in the room that I had booked it. So there is probably somewhere in Disney's corporate a video of me crying my eyes out in the office, but they actually told me in the room, which honestly it never happens and I did not expect it, but when they told me in the room, I was obviously crying, and it was a very weird experience. Nobody walks into that like mentally prepared to hear something like that. But yeah.
That's amazing. Can you walk us through how it all began, the audition process? Just how did that journey start for you?
Spin was actually my first American audition ever because I had worked in India for a while. Um, and I believe at age 12 I had auditioned for this. It was my first American audition ever, and that was kind of like my ticket to LA because Disney's vice president, Judy Taylor, she had seen the tape and she had asked me to come to LA just to meet her. And I think that was the first time I was like, oh man, I could kind of be an actress in Hollywood, maybe, like I could be a working actress here. And that was really the thing that set it off for me. But then the movie kind of took a pause, and I did not hear about it until last year when I got the audition call again. And I kind of did the standard audition process, audition, callback, producer session, and then I did the in-room director session with the entire executive team and Manjari. And that was when they had told me that I had booked it. But it was definitely a very like full circle experience for me because it was my first audition ever, and to have it be like my first movie in America ever is just so crazy to me. But that was the entire process, start to finish.
Wow. That is so cool to hear, though, that you've come around full circle for you. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So you said last year. So when did you start filming this? Was it over the summer?
I started filming this fall. I'm gonna say fall, so maybe October to November, I think, is probably fair to say when I started filming it.
So then what about school? Were you doing school while filming on set?
I was doing school while filming. I was doing my sophomore year. There we go. Sophomore year, first semester of my sophomore year, I was doing it. online kind of, and because
Oh,
it was also shooting during COVID, it was definitely a different experience.
that's interesting. So you were still going to your same school, but online while you were shooting?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, so is it really hard balancing work and school? Like, what does that look like for you?
I mean, it's not as there are so many actors I feel like in LA who do that I just like don't think it's fair for me to be like it's super difficult because and it's only because so many actors in LA do it. They manage school, they manage college, and they manage acting. It is tough, but I think being in LA and having that community of people who are going through the same thing as you around you, it definitely helps because you can ask them for advice and you feel less alone in kind of juggling these two things. But I definitely manage it and I take pleasure in managing it because I get to do two things that I love and I feel very blessed because of it.
That's so cool. Can you walk us through what a regular day on set was like? What did your day look like?
On set, my day, this on spin, I was on set every single day. So I think I would wake up in the morning, so like 6 or 7 a.m. Uh, probably eat some oatmeal. I eat oatmeal every single day. I'm a creature
Okay.
of habit. I eat it every single day. And since it was during COVID, we would have to go on set and get our COVID test done. So I would have things poked into my nose every single day.
Yeah.
But we do it for the safety of everyone. Um, and I would kind of go through my script and my sides the day before just to kind of prep myself for what we were shooting. And I would go shoot it, eat lunch, spend time with friends, and then come back home. And um, evening times, we all of the actors stayed in the same hotel, so it was always really fun during nighttime and evening time to go out with friends and just kind of run up to their room, run up to their floor, and kind of maybe watch a movie or eat some food or do something like that.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Did you guys prepare for your lines together the day before?
We didn't. We started off doing it like that, but we didn't end up doing it towards the end because shooting schedules are often changed so much, and when one person's shooting, one person might be somewhere else. So it was just hard to kind of plan, um, reading sides with each other. But we had done the table read, and we know we have a good chemistry together, and all of us had done the work before. So, it wasn't as like unprepared, and we would definitely on set before we shot it, obviously we would go through rehearsal and we would do it with each other, with props, with the setting. But
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell us something funny? Like, what's one of the funniest things that happened behind the scenes?
the funniest thing, oh, it's always hard, like you completely blank out on what you went through on set. um The one thing I can think of was we had an AD and her assistant director, and her name was Jen, but she could not detect sarcasm whatsoever. I love her. She's literally one of my favorite ADs, but she could not detect sarcasm whatsoever. And Michael, who I co-star with, him and I are very just sarcastic people in general of nature. So during our break times, we would like to go around walks around set. So she always wanted to make sure she knew where we were going. So she would be like, Michael, Avantika, where are you guys going? And literally our default answer was to do crack. And she would always seem so worried. She would literally be like staring at us like this, and we would just walk away. But it was like a running joke throughout our time on set that Avantika and Michael were going off to do crack. But we weren't, obviously. But it was just a running joke on set.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Um, can you tell us, because this would be your first main American role, right? Where you're the lead. Were you nervous going in? What were you feeling on day one?
Super nervous. Good nervous though. I think if you're nervous, it means that you care. I was definitely very nervous because I just think like doing a movie like this, it was very important to me to do it well. And just doing my first film. It was definitely very nerve-wracking, but I was also really, really eager. So it was good nerves, and I think those good nerves helped me do a decent job. But it wasn't as bad as I would have expected it to be because we had done so many weeks of rehearsal and I knew the team and I had, learned how to kind of DJ a little bit with the director and with the producer. So I knew the people who I was about to see on set. So I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. I was definitely a little bit more comfortable.
So you mentioned that you took DJing classes. I wanted to ask you, how long did you spend learning how to DJ to prepare for the role?
We did take DJing lessons. Michael and I took DJing lessons, and it definitely helped us feel a little bit more prepared for what we were about to experience. We took lessons for, I'm going to say, a month or a month and a half. We actually had a DJ setup put up in our hotel room so that the moment we woke up, there was like something to do and we could go and DJ. But we took lessons for a month and a half and it was definitely a wild experience. I don't think a month and a half is enough to learn a skill entirely, but it gave us a good comprehension of the things that we were dealing with and what kind of goes on in a DJ's mind and DJ's perspective. But it was a really great experience. I think that's one of the cool things about being an actor, that you get to kind of also learn a bunch of new things just to kind of get yourself to feel more comfortable in the character.
Oh yeah, totally. Do you think you'll continue DJing now?
Maybe I will. I still do kind of, but I'm a very trash DJ. My DJing is just not good at all. I understand it and I understand the theory of it and I understand where I'm going wrong. I just cannot fix it. So, it's just my it's very awful. You can ask anyone who was with me in the trailers, like in the makeup and hair and trailers of Spin, and they will all say that Avantika is the worst DJ you've ever seen. I don't let songs play. I like cut them short in the middle and I'm like, nope, I'm moving on to the next one. It's not good. So maybe not. Yeah.
You were in a hotel because of COVID, right? With the entire cast and crew. So would
Yes.
you have like DJ parties where when you were learning and play songs for everybody in the hotel?
No, but that sounds like so much fun. Honestly, we just never thought about it when we were there because we were so stressed about kind of, especially Michael and I, we were really stressed about tomorrow we have to DJ this particular set and we want to make sure we understand what is happening. And sometimes our sound crew would take pieces from what we were actually DJing to send to our music director who would kind of incorporate it into the songs. So we were always so stressed about that we never actually kind of did it like for fun. But now that you mention it, sounds such an amazing idea. I feel like we should have done that, but
Well, I mean, maybe on another set you can bring out your DJ skills, right?
yes.
Throw a
Yeah,
party.
definitely.
How else did you prepare for this role? Did anybody help you kind of shape the character for Rhea? Yeah, what went into preparing for that role?
Well, one of the aspects of Rhea, other than her DJing, is her coding and her being a waitress. I think those are the main three things she's kind of juggling in the film. So coding, I'm familiar with. I used to take computers, and I'm familiar with that aspect of her. But waitressing and kind of serving people and tending to tables and doing dishes in a restaurant setting is something I've never experienced. So one of the aspects of building her character was definitely working on that. I had like a tray and I had heavy ceramic plates in my hotel room so that I could lift the tray and know how it felt, and kind of practicing serving people whenever the chance I got and working with the choreographer to make sure that it looked natural. Our entire dancing team, they have bartended, they have wait tables, they have done all of that. So they were very familiar and they were always really great at pointing out what didn't look natural, what did look natural. So that was one of the aspects. And our director, Manjari, she was really great with doing rehearsals with me just to build Rhea's character, it always helps to kind of have a person like that guiding you rather than just being pushed into it alone. Especially because this was my first film, I was a little bit scared that maybe I wouldn't do her justice or maybe I was kind of falling on the wrong track, but she was definitely there to help me and guide me and kind of push me forward.
That's amazing. What can you tell us about working with Manjari? Like, what was your favorite part about working with her? And also Bollywood actor Abhay Deol.
Working with Manjari, the best part of working with Manjari is I think her personality is just very sisterly. She has me call her Manjari Akka, which means sister, elder sister. She truly is like family. And I mean, if you're working on set, the best thing is to feel like you're working with family rather than working with a colleague or working with this superior, you know what I'm saying? So she was so good at making me feel comfortable and making me feel secure and safe. And when I was offset, I would go over to her house and we would stay up really late. And so just having that kind of bond with your director is so, so helpful. And her being able to do that for her actor, definitely that's one of the best parts of working with her.
That's amazing. What about Bollywood actor Abhay Deol?
Yes, Deal. He plays my dad on Spin, and I am just so lucky to be able to say that, oh, I had him play my dad once because I grew up watching him on screen. So to finally get to work with him, and that too with him playing my father, it was just insane. And he is so down to earth. He's so humble and he's so approachable. And I was a little bit scared to kind of, I was not scared, maybe a little bit intimidated to work with him because kind of having this actor you look up to and having this, experienced actor to play your dad and to play someone who's so close to you, you feel like you have to live up to certain expectations. But he, again, like Manjari, is just so good at making people feel comfortable and feeling safe. There was this emotional scene in Spin, and he just did a really great job of like giving me space and allowing me to go through whatever I was going through, and just working with someone like that and that person being Abhay Deol, just crazy experience, amazing experience. I have no other words.
Nice. Would you say you were a lot like your character Rhea, or were there a lot of differences?
I don't really think I'm like my character Rhea. I definitely think there are some similarities. We're both really determined, and we both have a tendency to put more on our plate than we can handle. But
Okay.
other than that, and I really resonate with just how much she cares about helping people. I do too, and I appreciate seeing that quality in other people. Um, but I think she's a little bit more introverted than I am, and I think our sense of humor is also slightly different. But kind of being able to embody a character like that, especially when it comes to sense of humor, whose sense of humor is slightly different, that's one of my favorite parts. I just love, like, that's why I think people become actors, right? It would be boring if you had to play yourself every single day. But she's a little bit different from who I am, and that's what made playing her so great.
Okay. Now I wanted to ask this. There's been a lot in the media, a lot on even Twitter about how big of a deal this is for South Asians in the US to have an Indian American lead in a Disney movie. When you accepted this role, did you have any sense of how important this role would be to so many people?
I think I had an inkling of how important it would be because, it's the first one where an Indian American is being put as a lead character on a Disney film. And so I definitely had an inkling, but to get this kind of response, it has been very unreal. And I definitely did not expect for it to be this big. And I'm very appreciative of how big it is because things like this will propel more opportunities for South Asians in Hollywood, and it's important for us to kind of bring attention to projects like this just so we create more momentum in the industry. So I'm very glad that it's getting the attention that it has been. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't think it would happen. I definitely did have a feeling that we were going to get a lot of attention and a lot of support as well. And I'm very, very thankful that we are.
Okay, now I wanted to also ask you about, just embracing your culture. Is that something that you talked about with the director Manjari about how you felt, how the character felt about embracing her Indian culture? Was that a conversation?
Yes, we definitely talked about that. And especially in this day and age where social media has taken on a rise and we see so many Indian like influencers and activists, I feel like girls these days are becoming a little bit more comfortable with embracing their culture, and Spin kind of covers that because so many films up until now, when we see South Asian representation or just POC representation, the narratives are typically centered around, oh, this person is struggling to embrace their culture and this person is kind of going on that journey. But Spin kind of establishes that. It establishes that Rhea is very comfortable with her culture. She loves wearing Indian jewelry and she kind of loves to wear sometimes kurtas with jeans and she wears them to school and she's very, very comfortable with her Indian heritage. Now, let's have her experience conflicts like how a modern day girl would. So it's very, I feel like, true to modern day Indian girls because, as far as I've seen, we're all really comfortable with our culture. And I think it's important to see ourselves being represented in a way where we're just going through conflicts like a normal person and not everything has to be centered around our heritage and our identity.
That's a major step for our culture here in the US
Yeah.
too. To like just
Yes.
see what are we like just normally being Indian, but
Yeah.
being here. That's so cool. I love that. Now, have you ever like had to deal with that just personally, embracing your culture, owning it, or is that just always come naturally to you?
Of course, I definitely struggled to embrace my Indian culture. Maybe up till age 10, I was struggling with it a lot. Just taking Indian food to school and being made fun of for it. I mean, these are all really familiar to the South Asian community. And, going to school with coconut oil in my hair and having people make fun of me. So I definitely did struggle, but what I think helped me kind of become comfortable was I went to India for 3 years, and when I was working there and working in the Indian industry, I saw, like, genuinely saw how beautiful our culture was and realized, like, this is not something to be ashamed of. And after I had gone through that experience and kind of grew as a person, when I came back to the US, my whole like embracing culture did a whole like 180 and I was like, this is who I am, and if you don't like me for who I am, then you don't need to be with me. So I had kind of taken
That's
on this new
amazing.
confidence.
Yes. Now, like the older generations have been fighting just to get Indians on screen, right? And now we're kind of starting to see that we're being represented and we're regular people too, but we come from our own culture. Do you think that the next generation is going to have different challenges or it's just going to be normal? Like, oh yeah, I'm Indian. What do you foresee happening in the future?
I honestly cannot tell you because I have asked myself this question. I'm like, I wonder what it will be like for future generations. But everything right now is so chaotic that I don't think there's a right answer. But I feel like the future generation will always have its struggles. I think every generation is going to have its struggles, but I just cannot deny the progress that older generations have created for us. They really have paved the way. The activism of people of color from decades ago, that has allowed for us to kind of make this progress and make these steps today. So I hope that I can make those steps for future generations, and for whatever problems and struggles they'll face, they will also create steps for their future generations. And we kind of always extend the table for more and more people.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Now, next up, I want to go into our rapid fire round. I'm going to ask
Okay.
you a bunch of questions and just answer as quickly as you can. First thing that comes to your
Okay.
mind. All right.
So,
So, what's one thing that people may not know about you?
I'm I like washing my hands one at a time.
What? How? Like this?
I just feel like you can get cleaner that way. So there we go. You asked me one thing that people I like washing my hands one at a time. There
Not
you are.
expecting that. Favorite Bollywood movie?
Favorite Bollywood movie? Mm, I really liked Rozzy.
Oh,
That's the first movie I can think of. But honestly, the classics like Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, those are obviously the
forever.
classic. Yep, but forever.
Favorite Bollywood song?
Favorite Bollywood song? Chand Sifarish. That's my favorite Bollywood
Yes,
song.
nice. And favorite Bollywood actor?
Favorite Bollywood actor? Hrithik Roshan.
Oh, okay.
Any day, every day. Yep.
A song you're most likely to sing in the shower.
Ooh, that's tough. Probably September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. I sing that song in the shower a little too often. My mom will tell you that, but yeah.
Nice, nice. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? It's a close one between Handmaid's Tale and How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, wow. Okay. Um, actor or director on your dream list to work with?
Oh my gosh, so many. But actor, Meryl Streep, Viola Davis, I would love to work with either one of them someday. I just love them both so much.
Okay. I'm sure you will. Just give it time. Something desi that you always have to explain to your friends.
Something desi. Oh, I've always had to explain to people why our family puts like plastic covers on remotes. I feel like that's something that a lot of Desi families do, and I've always had people ask me questions about that, but I've had to like explain to them why it's necessary. But
Love it. And lastly, your favorite memory from making spin.
my favorite memory. Going out with one of the cast members at nighttime and just kind of uh, like feeling the snow because I'm from California and I never get to experience snow. So that is like one of my best memories of just
Nice.
kind of walking out and playing with the snow.
Did you make snow angels or a snowman or have a
Yeah.
snow fight?
Yep. Of course.
All of
Yes.
it.
Yes. Did the whole 2 yards. I did everything.
Nice. Well, thank you for playing our rapid fire round.
Yes, of
Um,
course.
can you tell us what's next for you? What are your future projects? What can we look forward to?
You can look forward to. I'm currently working on Senior Year with Rebel Wilson on Netflix. So that is very, very exciting, and you can look forward to that. It is a really, really wholesome teenage kind of chick flick that's very reminiscent of 2000s films. So that is something that I'm looking forward to seeing on Netflix, and something that you can be looking forward to as well.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Um, is there anything else that you want to tell the world before we finish?
Anything else? I hope you all enjoy Spin, and I hope you all see a little bit of yourselves in some of the characters on screen.
Aw. Make sure to watch Spin, you guys, when it comes out on Disney Channel and then Disney Plus on August 13th. All right. Well, thank you so much, Avantika. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
you
much,
being with us here
Shiksha.
today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.